Hi, folks. Welcome to season 4, episode 2 of the Lemons and Pineapples podcast with me, Emma O'Brien, and my guest, Sam Shrosbury. Today, we're talking about why self-care isn't working for you and what will. So maybe you've tried the bubble baths, you've tried the odd yoga class, the expensive skincare routines, and you still don't feel quite right. So, we're going to be talking about why self-care isn't working and what you actually could be doing instead to create meaningful self-nourishment and connection. So, Sam, who is a physio and functional medicine health coach, and I have created a brand new group coaching program called the Recalibration. You can find out more information about that in the show notes. It's going to be launching. Doors are opening very soon for that. And self-care is going to be something that we are really focusing on in this group program because I think people have totally got self-care wrong. Talk to us about self-care from your perspective, Sam.
I'm just thinking as you talking, what is self-care? If you think about something else you would care for, whether it's your child or a pet, it's listening to what they need. When the child cries, it's working out. If it's hungry or just needs some love or needs to be changed. So I think self-care is taking the time to actually stop, listen to yourself, your mind, your body, see what it needs and give it that thing. And maybe just also let it feel what it needs to feel. I think a lot of the time we take self-care as just doing something that just makes us feel a little bit better, or maybe like puts a little band-aid on it. Like if I just have a bath, I'll feel better. If I just have a bottle of wine, I'll feel better.
Yeah.
I think care is actually caring. If you care about someone else, you would want to spend time with them, listen to their story, and support them. So how are you supporting yourself to keep living your happiest life?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we talked about in the previous episode, we talked about dysregulation and signs of dysregulation. And I think learning to regulate your emotions, regulate your nervous system, regulate your mind-body connection is a huge part of self-care. And one of the things that's really important is actually doing that before your body starts screaming, hey, I've got a problem, before you start feeling that overwhelm, before you're struggling to focus, before you have the headache, because you can preemptively add self-care into your day-to-day routine and help to prevent all of the
Mm,
problems that you and I both see with people who are stressed out and completely and utterly dysregulated and just not coping. I
mhm,
think, we talked in episode 1 about you have clients who come to your physio practice and they're literally surviving and they're
mhm,
coming to have you kind of deal with the frozen shoulder and the tension headache, which
mhm,
actually isn't a physiological problem. It's a psychological problem that's manifesting physiologically because there's too much happening. And what we have to do is start addressing the root cause of our mind body dysfunction, quite frankly. And one thing that we've talked about, one thing we're going to be focusing on in the recalibration course that we're doing is what is true regulation versus numbing and avoiding.
mhm,
Can you
mm.
talk to us a little bit more about the kind of the numbing and avoiding that you see people doing?
I think, yeah, I mean, we spoke in episode 1 about the number of people these days that are on anti-anxiety medication and antidepressants. It's basically like there is this feeling, I don't like it, it needs to go away. And I think, yeah, I ran a course once where I asked people to tell me ways in which they help themselves feel better, how they shift emotions, how they listen to their emotions. And it was without fail. I drink a bottle of wine. I go out and go crazy with my friends. And it's like, let me just forget this thing. Let me
Mm,
distract myself with something else.
mm,
Yeah, I think distractions are a big one. I think people like to keep themselves distracted and busy with work and lots of busyness and lots of social events and things like that. Even something as simple as eating and sleeping, which is self-care. I think people often will avoid eating, like I'm too busy, or I've got to eat on the run, or oh God, now I'm starving and I feel like I'm going to fall down. Let me just shovel something in my mouth, and then I'm wired by the time I need to go to bed. I can't actually sleep, so let me just take a sleeping tablet. We're not even doing the basic things, or I think we've spoken about it before at our corporate wellness events that we do, where I don't even think people take the time to get up and go to the loo. It's just like back
yeah,
to back meeting, one after the other after the
yeah,
other. So
yeah.
you literally are numbing out those things. You're not listening to basic human things that we need to do. And so we numb
Mm,
out with the busyness of life, the next call, the
mm,
next meeting, the next
mm,
activity.
mm.
Um, Busyness is probably the biggest numbing agent we use.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's like I could give you the whole merchandise range for that because it's what I used to do. Is I just didn't ever stop, and I think the part of the reason for that is A, we're not taught to name and feel feelings.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
B,
mm-hmm,
big feelings are really uncomfortable to sit with.
mm-hmm,
So we avoid them, and I understand why people, I understand why people do it because it takes quite a lot of time introspection and being able to be really uncomfortable to sit in big feelings. But the thing with feelings is, and we come from from kind of both two sides of this. Physical sensations of I've got a stomach ache, I've got a headache are telling you something. Feelings are messengers. So whether they're somatic feelings or whether they're emotional feelings, if I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel overwhelmed, I can't cope, they're all signs that something is out of kilter. And
mm-hmm,
instead of being taught to listen to them and say, okay, I've been feeling consistently really, really reactive. What's going on for me? What's
mm-hmm,
happening that my plate is so full I can't cope?
mm-hmm,
So I can't stay calm because I've got no capacity anymore. If you've not got capacity to cope, what can you shift to find capacity?
mm-hmm,
Because you have to make some lifestyle changes, not like you say, we talked, oh, I'm not going to get on my soapbox again about it, but not start medicating the lack of capacity with a
yeah.
blood pressure medication or a headache tablet or all of the things that you will very easily be given, as opposed to taking the time to reflect on what in my life is not working for me and how can I make some adjustments to that. And it's a huge part of the coaching work that I do with people is can we
Mm-hmm,
just take a step back and have an overview here? What's
mm-hmm,
really causing all of these problems here? Is it your relationship that's not working for you anymore? Is it the job that you hate and you actually, every part of you is just screaming, I need something different? Is
mm-hmm,
it the lack of boundaries you've got going on? And how can you start to just free up a little bit of time for yourself each day? One of the
mm-hmm,
things I like to do for self-care is just to go and sit and in the afternoon or in the morning, if I have time, is just to go and sit outside in the garden for 5, 10 minutes and just have a coffee or a herbal tea or a pina colada and just one occasionally to and just sit and enjoy being outside and just be present in the moment
mm-hmm.
because that is probably the biggest form of self-care you can give yourself is to be present in the moment you are in
Yeah.
right now at the risk of sounding like Yoda with a pina colada.
I think we've also lost. I'm just thinking, like maybe a lot of people say, "Well, I will just go and sit down," but the TV will probably go on, or the
Yep,
cell phone will be in the
yep,
hand.
yep.
But you're not actually um, just sitting. Maybe, yeah, there's always a scrolling or a a TV or something that it just again keeps us distracted, that we don't have to listen to our own thoughts and feelings. Let's just
Yeah.
be, yeah, it's just keep being stimulated. So we never need to, we never
Yeah.
need to look or explore. And I think
Mm.
sometimes, I mean, baby, sometimes there is all the ailments and the sicknesses and things like that because there's big changes that need to happen. But sometimes we just need to properly rest.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, I had it a few weeks ago. I had an insanely busy week back to back, and I started just being ridiculous. Like everything was sending me over the edge.
Yeah.
And eventually, my boyfriend just said to me, I think you need to eat something, have an early night, and then I think these things will not be as problematic tomorrow. And he was 100% right. So sometimes it's also that we just need to switch off a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
completely. And get a good night's sleep. I think don't underestimate the power of a
mm,
good night's sleep. I mean, I'm like grandma here, so I'm in bed by about 8:30. I'm up maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, so I'm up relatively early. But if I don't get a proper night's sleep, I'm foul. I can't actually cope very well. So it's a bit of a non-negotiable for me
mm,
to get into bed. No, the screen is off. I'll read, and then that's it. I know I need a good night's sleep. It is an
mm,
absolute non-negotiable. So often, we're kind of not coping, not coping, not coping. But if you're trying to survive on 5 hours of sleep, there's your solution: is just go to bed earlier. And it don't
mm,
you say that, but again, we'll kind of overthink the whole thing. Is how can you self-care, like we've talked about, it doesn't have to be the kind of, oh, treat yourself. Going to a spa day, great, but that's not it. It's not long-term self-care. Long-term self-care is, what are you doing each day to feel good and really look after your body and also your mind. Like I've said, good night's
mm.
sleep. I need a good solid 8 hours, otherwise, don't come near me. Sitting in the garden, just listening to the birds and just kind of, mingling with the tree spirits in the garden. All good. I feel I can do that for 5 minutes and I'm like, oh, life is actually quite
Yeah,
magical. It's all good. Um,
yeah.
I'm a heart math practitioner, so heart focused breathing, which is literally just, it's so simple. It's something we're going to be going through in the recalibration, is just to take the time to connect inwards and slow your breathing down and put some focus on you as you breathe. I know you've got yoga nidras, which you're going to talk to us a little bit about as well. But they're all very simple things that are very easy to add into a routine. It doesn't have to be 5 hours of standing on your head.
Mm.
Tell us a bit about your yoga nidras.
So a yoga nidra, I mean, I don't know if the more I talk about it, I feel like the word yoga should be taken out of it and just call it a nidra. But it's also sometimes called a yogic sleep. And it is a kind of meditation um, using certain words and phrases that get your brain waves into the same state that they would be in when you are sleeping, which is your delta brain waves. Um, I believe that yoga nidras are used by pilots where they're often flying long periods of time and random times during the night that they don't have regular sleep patterns, and also by soldiers at war where they need to be quite alert and are in dangerous situations. And just doing 20 minutes of this kind of meditation, it's just basically scanning through your body and literally telling your body to relax from top to toe, and listening to various words that your brain can only focus on those things, slows down those brain waves. And apparently 20 minutes of listening to something like a yoga nidra can give your brain the equivalent of 4 hours sleep.
Wow.
um, hmm,
That
it
could
can
be
be
the
that
solution to
restorative to
my
your brain.
grandma
Yeah.
behavior.
So um yeah, so I feel like that's another technique that we can use, because even as you
Mm.
were talking about people sleeping, where people say, I sleep 4 to 5 hours. I think most people believe that they are functioning perfectly normally on four
You're
to
not, folks. Sorry.
yeah.
You're not.
Yeah. And it's also because we've gotten used to functioning on that. So maybe you're getting used to functioning at 70% or 60%. I don't know what it is. I think we almost applaud those things in modern day society. Like, we don't ever say, how are you? Oh, I'm feeling so relaxed. Life is great. I mean, you'd be seen as maybe a little bit lazy, whereas if you, oh, so busy, just, burning the candle at both ends, sleeping 4 hours a night, that's like, wow, this person is winning at life. We almost need to reset our thinking around these things. It's not how we are designed to be living. Modern day life and all the isms that we could do a whole nother podcast on has
Yeah,
led
you're
us to
totally,
believe that.
yeah, you're totally right. And I think, if I think back to pre-burnout, Emma, I would, I mean, it's farcical now when I think of how much I was cramming into a week. I mean, I was working 7 days a week. And as most people know, I've also got a photography business. Some days I was doing 4 photo shoots a day and doing all the editing and delivering everything to clients and not doing anything else other than working. Folks, not normal. Okay, let's just drop that myth. And I can remember people saying to me, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky to be so
Mm,
busy.
mm,
Don't
mm,
complain." Uh,
mhm,
it's not, it just busy is not a badge of success.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
not. It is, I think, a measure of success, in my not very humble opinion, is how much are you enjoying life?
mm,
How often are
mhm,
you present with where you're at and the people you're with? How many deep, meaningful conversations you having with your partner, your friends, your children
mm,
each day? How often do you sit back and go, "Oh, this feels really, really good"? I think
mm,
that's a measure of
mm.
success, not
Yeah.
how many customers can I hustle. Don't get me wrong, I'm the first person to tell you I love earning money. It's a big buzz for me to earn money, but
Mhm,
it's not the be all and end all for
mhm,
me. It's more, did I have a nice day? Do I feel fulfilled? I think that really is a measure of success, and we've got to shift the narrative around it.
mhm,
I will always remember having a conversation with my stepmom when she was dying from terminal cancer, and she didn't say, "I wish I'd done more." She said, "I'd
mm.
wish I'd actually gone out and experienced more.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
wish I'd gone to take the time to visit some of the places that were really local to me that I could have just gone and enjoyed. I wish I'd enjoyed my life more."
Yeah.
And I think it's about making sure you're doing that before you hit a point of no return.
100%.
And I know it kind of goes off at a bit of a deep tangent, but it's really what else is there if we're not
Yeah.
actually enjoying the day-to-day of things? And that starts with taking care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of yourself adequately, you can't care for or connect with anybody else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. There's that I think it was a Russian study on babies where they gave the babies everything that they needed in terms of food and clothing and warmth, and the babies still didn't thrive because they were never given love. So I think just circling back, I think really caring for yourself is giving yourself what you need physically and emotionally.
yeah,
And just constantly tying that self-care needs to be looking at both sides of that coin
yeah,
all the time, because maybe
yeah.
working is helping you achieve something physically and tangibly
Hmm.
in terms of a
Hmm.
living, and that can buy you your home and things like that,
Hmm.
but unless you're also looking after yourself mentally and emotionally,
Yeah,
it's going to be pointless.
guess it. You can't enjoy it. So there you go. On that mic drop, Sam and I have created an amazing 6-week program called the Recalibration. We are going to be opening the doors to that very soon. You can find all the info there's a link in the show notes to go and have a look at. This is for you if you're listening to this and going, "Okay, this all resonates, but I don't know how to do it. I want something to be different, but I don't know where to begin. It feels like it's all too much." This is a practical course, we're going to be kind of giving you holistic mind-body techniques and things that you can be doing that are realistically you can add them into your daily routine without creating overwhelm. So we've put a lot of love into this, so we're really excited to share it with you. So make sure you have a look in the show notes. And of course, as always, we'd love to hear from you and what your takeaways were from this episode. You can pop either of us a message on Instagram. The links are in the show notes, and we will both see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with me, Sam.
Thank you, Emma.
Bye for now, team.